All right, everybody. Hope you are doing well. We're going to take a look today at adding and subtracting rational expressions. So, first thing we need to do is kind of take a look back into the past and look at the least common multiple. So, adding and subtracting rational expressions is very similar to adding and subtracting fractions. We're going to add and subtract the numerators and then keep the denominators. So, if we think about this, if I was going to do 3 over 4, I need my pen. So 3 over 4 plus, let's do 2 over 8 without reducing it. Let's make it different. Let's go 1/3. So remember, without simplifying this, I needed to find the least common multiple. So 4 and 3, the smallest denominator would be 12. So I'd multiply this one by 3 over 3, this one by 4 over 4, and you get 9 over 12, 4 over 12, and 13 over 12. So that process at the bottom, remember, is finding your least common multiple and going from there. So what we're going to take a look at here, first of all, is just kind of going back over how to find the least common multiple. So easiest way to do it is just take the biggest number, 10, and start listing out multiples. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, so on and so forth. What is the smallest number that 4 divides in? 4 doesn't go into 10. 4 does go into 20. So my least common multiple here is 20. Nice and simple. Same thing here, 25, 50. 10 doesn't go into 25. 50 would be my least common multiple. Cool? 24 and 32. So 32, 64, doesn't work quite yet. 96, there we go. So take your biggest number, start writing out the multiples of that, and whatever the smallest number is, or whatever the first number you come across where that first number multiplies into it or divides into it, you are good to go. So now, to add or subtract rational expressions with unlike denominators, first we're going to find that least common denominator. Using the least common multiple, and then the least common denominator is the least common multiple. So here, kind of put you there a little chart. So to find the least common multiple, factor each part, and then list the different factors. If the polynomial has common factors here, use the highest power. Nice and simple. So let's look at this. So 2 and 3, 3, 6, so that's going to be my number. So nice and simple. So 6 is my number. I got x cubed and x to the 5th. X to the 5th is the bigger one, so that's the one I'm going to use. Y to the 4th and y cubed. Y to the 4th is the bigger one, so that's the one I'm going to use. Cool? Now if I come over here to b, I got to factor everything. So I got -4 and I got 3. So what factors -4 give me 3? 4 and -1. So x plus 4 and x minus 1. I got 2 and -3, so -2 and -1. That should be a 1, not a 2. So x minus 2 and x minus 1 for those factors. So now, all I'm going to do is pick one. Since I've already used the x minus 1, so let's pick them. So I got x plus 4. I used that. X minus 1, used it. X minus 2. So that's my least common multiple here. So you only have to write each one once. Whereas the normal ones over here, your normal variables, you're going to use the largest one. Over here, your factors, once you write it once, you are good to go. Let's take a look at C. So my numbers here, I have 4 and 3. 4 is bigger, so 4, 8, 12. So I got 12 as my number, so I'll use those. X to the 3rd and x to the 5th. X to the 5th is larger. Y to the 7th, y to the 4th, y to the 7th is larger. And you're good to go. All right, let's look at a couple more factoring. So these, you can pause them, you can try them on your own. So this is a difference of squares. So x plus 2 and x minus 2. This one over here, what factors of 6 give you 5? So 3 and 2, so x plus 3 and x plus 2. So my least common multiple here x plus 2, x minus 2, and x plus 3. Cool? So factor everything, take a look at what you got, and only write it once. All right, 4 and 16. 4 goes into 16, so that's good. X squared, x to the fourth is larger. Y cubed and y cubed is larger. So those should be quick and easy. 4 goes into 16, so that makes it simple. All right, and the last one, x squared minus 25, difference of squares, so x plus 5, x minus 5. Make sure you get these factoring techniques down. I told you they're never going to go away. 25 and 10, so 5 and 5. So here, x plus 5 occurs 3 times, but I'm only going to write it down once. So my least common multiple here is x plus 5 times x minus 5. Now, the issue here is this one occurs twice over here. So I need to include the square here. That's kind of a weird, tricky thing. But since it occurs twice in the same little piece, I need to include that. Side note kind of ordeal. All right. So now let's look how to apply it. This is going to take a little bit longer than multiplying, but I think we can get it down. So very first thing I want to do is factor everything. So I'm not going to draw the charts. If you need to pause it and draw the charts each time, I'm just going to go ahead and factor it. So what factors of 2 add to give you 3? So that's going to be 2 and 1. So x plus 2 and x plus 1. So everything is factored. So I want to factor everything. Now the left one has an x plus 2 and an x plus 1. I need to get a common denominator. The right one has an x plus 1, so it needs an x plus 2. So what you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So my least common denominator here, you don't have to write this every time, but it does help. So that's my least common denominator. So now what I have up top is I have an x plus, I have an x minus 1 over x plus 2 times x plus 1 plus x times x plus 2 over x plus 1 times x plus 2. All right, now I'm just going to add across the top. So what I want to do here is I want to FOIL this out. So x squared plus 2x. So up top now, if you're watching what I got x minus 1 plus x squared plus 2x all over x plus 2 times x plus 1. And now I just want to combine like terms. So up top, I got an x squared. 2x plus x is a 3x, and then minus 1. What factors of 1 subtract to give you 3? Nothing, so I am done there. So you always want to try to factor it at the end after you combine like terms. If you can't factor it, you leave it, and you are done. Then all you got to do to kind of expand it to get it where we want is you can write your excluded values. So remember, x cannot equal -2 or -1. Don't forget about those. All right, let's take a look at b over here. So I'm going to factor the bottom, anything I can. So 2 times x minus 1, GCF. 3 times x minus 1. So they both have an x minus 1. Okay. Now 2 and 3, 3, 6. So 6 is going to have to be the number I want. So they both have an x minus 1. So this one I just need to multiply by 3 over 3 to get that 6. This one just needs to be 2 over 2. Okay? So now I have 9x over 6 times x minus 1 plus be a 6x minus 4 over 6x minus 1. So you see the difference there. I now have a common denominator. So I'm going to add the top. So 9x plus 6x is 15x. Let me clear that up a little bit. Minus 4. Now, there's no GCF there, so I am donezo. That's what we're looking for. So you got to get that common denominator and then multiply so you get the same thing, and then you're good to go. All right, a few more examples. So let's factor what I can. X is good, x plus 3 is good, negative 18 is good, x squared plus 1 is good. I can't factor anything. So when this happens, my least common denominator is x plus 3 times x squared plus 1. So these are the tricky ones. So now I have to multiply by the opposite denominator. So this one's going to get x squared plus 1 over x squared plus 1. This one's going to get an x plus 3 and an x plus 3. So that gives me an x cubed plus x plus, and that's going to give me a negative 18x. Negative 18 plus times 3, because I'm going to distribute this, is a negative 54. So I now have the same denominator, which is awesome. But I want to combine the top. So x cubed is my largest. X minus 18x is a negative 17x, and then a minus 54. And you're done. You got your solution. So I recommend taking a second, pausing this one, and trying D on your own. Pause it. I'm going to continue on, but pause it, see what you can do, and go from there. This one's got a cool little trick to it. So that you can take out of GCF, you can take out of here. What factors of 9 add to give you 6? So x plus 3 and x plus 3. So you notice if you simplify this fraction, I can cross these out. Pretty cool. So I got x over x plus 3, just as simplifying that we did 2 days ago. And now check this out. You have a common denominator already, right? So you can go ahead and combine them. So your final answer here, x plus 2 over x plus 3. That one's a fun one. All right. So now let's take a look at the subtraction side. Nothing's going to change here. I'm going to make these questions a little bit more difficult. But the only difference here with these problems is that you have to remember to distribute the negative sign. All right. So let's take a look at this. So do what we can here. So 2 x squared minus 8. Can't really do much with that. X squared minus 4, so that's going to be an x plus 2, x minus 2. Now, since I can't really do much with this, nothing's going to cancel. I'm actually going to backtrack, but I'll show you that in a second. So my least common multiple, it's going to be x plus 2 times x minus 2. So this one's good. So this one's going to get an x minus 2 and an x minus 2. So what I have here, since I can't simplify, I'm going to go back to what I started with. So 2x squared minus 16 over x plus 2 times x minus 2 minus, and I'm going to FOIL this as I write it. So up top, that's going to give me an x squared plus 4x minus 2x minus 8 over your x plus 2 times x minus 2. All right. Since I got plenty of space and I'm allowed to zoom in, this is nice. I like what I'm doing. I'm going to distribute this negative sign. So what I have here is 2x squared minus 16, then minus x squared minus 4x plus 2x plus 8. All right. So that gives me 2x squared minus x squared is an x squared. Minus 4 plus 2 is a minus 2x, and then a minus 8. Now, I just want to check and see if that factors. So, I haven't done, let's go purple. So what factors in negative 8 give me negative 2? This one does, so negative 4 and positive 2. So a lot of work on these, which is towards the end, so I'm going to make them more challenging. So x minus 4 over x minus 2 is my final solution here. So a lot more work involved with these. This one I made it so it does factor at the end. So that way you have to factor it multiple times. All right. let's take a look at this one. So does anything factor out? No, not one piece. So I'm going to multiply by the opposite denominator. So this one is going to be by 3x plus 1, 3x plus 1. And this one's going to be a 2x minus 5 and a 2x minus 5. So I'm going to multiply everything out. So 3x times 3x, so a 9x squared minus 15x plus 3x minus 5 minus, I'll keep that in red, minus, all right, let's FOIL the top out. So 2x minus 5 times 2x minus 5, so 4x squared. Do it the old way. So minus 10x plus 25 all over 3x plus 1 times 2x minus 5. So we have everything there. We have a common denominator now. So I'm going to distribute that negative. If it helps, you can just write it above it. So negative 4x squared plus 10x minus 25. And then you can cancel that out if you want to. So now let's combine like terms. So 9x squared minus 4x squared gives me a 5x squared. Cross it out. Now let's do a different color. Where's my undo button? There it is. Let's go green. So that gives me a 5x squared. Negative 15 plus 3 is negative 12. Plus 10 is negative 2. Plus 10 is 8. And then negative 5 plus 25 is negative 30. All right, now let's check it. Does this top one factor? So are there any factors of negative 150 that give me 8? 15, 10, no. 5 and 30, no. So we're good to go. Cool. All right, last one. Once again, if you want to pause it, try it on your own before we start working at things. Feel free. If not, I'm going to continue on. So I'm going to take this out. And that's not going to help much. Difference of squares. That one does. So all I'm going to need here is an x minus 8 and an x minus 8. So I have a 2x squared plus 64 minus, and then I got an x squared minus 8x minus 4x plus 32 over x plus 8, x minus 8. So I'm going to distribute this. So I'm going to switch all these signs and then cross it out. So negative x squared plus 8x plus 4x minus 32. Cross it out so I don't use it again. So 2x squared minus x squared is x squared. Did it again. Let's go back to that green. So I got an x squared. 8 plus 4 is 12 x's. 64 plus 32 is 32. Now, are there any factors of 32? That's a 3. 32 that give you 12. Yep, 8 and 4. So this one factors further. So x plus 8. Struggling with the writing tonight. And x plus 4 over x plus 8 and x minus 8. Those cancel. So my final answer here is x plus 4 over x minus 8. So some great practice. You got a lot of algebra to work with. So big thing, make sure you're finding a common denominator. So find your least common multiple and then multiply the top and the bottom by what's missing. Simplify. If you're adding, go ahead and drop it and just add the tops. If you're subtracting, distribute the negative and go to work. So once again, here it is. If you have any questions, please let me know. Other than that, make sure you practice, get your quick check done, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.